Hi, I'm Charlie Mahtesian, National Politics Editor for Politico, and I'm here today with former New Mexico Governor Gary Johnson, who is the Libertarian Party nominee for president this year. Governor, thanks for coming.
Oh, thanks for having me, yes.
Maybe you could tell us a little bit about why you chose to run as a third-party nominee, the Libertarian Party nominee, knowing the historic struggle that you have in a presidential race as a third-party nominee, and knowing what it's like as a former governor to excel and win at this sort of level.
Well, the idea here is to win, and I think that I am a spokesperson right now for the fastest, largest growing segment of American politics in the country, which is libertarian. And stating what I think is the obvious, there are a lot more people in this country that describe themselves as libertarian than vote libertarian. I'm asking everybody this one time, vote libertarian. Vote for me, give me a chance, and I'm saying that I'm going to make a difference.
Well, how do you break through against two major party nominees that are bombarding the airwaves with ads that are in every national telecast?
Well, it's hard, if not impossible, and that's speaking historically, but I don't think this country has ever faced the issues that it's facing right now. And I am talking about what I think is going to end up to be a monetary collapse in this country. The fact that there are ramifications to borrowing and printing money to the tune of 43 cents out of every dollar that we spend, and that we're going to suffer a monetary collapse. Monetary collapse, the money that we have in our pocket doesn't buy a thing. That is not something, this is something that's avoidable, but we need to balance the federal budget now. I'm the only candidate that's saying that we need to balance the federal budget now.
And how much is it going to take to run at the presidential level to be competitive?
Well, right now, what I'm really proud of, Charlie, is the fact that whether we're polling at 5% or 23%, that we're doing this with a fraction of a penny relative to Obama and Romney's dollars.
And you have a target amount that you want to raise, that you expect to raise?
Well, whatever we raise, let me just go out on a limb here and say that that the money that we raise and the votes that I end up getting in November from a cost-benefit standpoint, we'll spend less money to get more votes than either of the other two.
Well, the polls you mentioned in Arizona, in places like New Mexico where you were governor, show that you are well beyond the 5% mark. What is the Gary Johnson sweet spot? What are the states that you expect to do best in, and where do you expect to get the most traction?
You know, Charlie, I'm thinking that it's going to happen nationwide. I really am. I think the fact that, speaking with a broad brushstroke, that the majority of Americans are fiscally responsible, socially accepting. I'm in that category. That said, I'm different than the other two in several categories. I'm the only candidate that doesn't want to bomb Iran. I'm the only candidate that wants to get out of Afghanistan tomorrow, bring the troops home. I'm the only candidate that's talking about marriage equality from the standpoint of it being a constitutionally guaranteed right. Let's end the drug wars. Let's repeal the Patriot Act. I would have never signed the Defense Authorization Act. Let's balance the federal budget tomorrow. Let's abolish the IRS. Let's eliminate income tax, corporate tax, and replace it with one federal consumption tax. These are big differences between the other two, and I think these differences actually are appealing across the board, all the way across the country.
And you've talked a lot in the past about the need to get into the debates, to be in that venue. Why is getting into the presidential debates so important?
Well, anything can happen. That could be crash and burn, but I think that it could bring attention to what it is that I'm saying, my resume. I've been an entrepreneur my entire life. I grew a business from one person, me, to employ over 1,000 people. I think I got to serve as a two-term governor of New Mexico, as an outsider, as a Republican, but I may have vetoed more legislation than the other 49 governors in the country combined. My executive experience in government is saying no to government. And right now, that's what we desperately need. No to government spending, and the notion that we all care about civil liberties. Let's stop with the erosion of our civil liberties. The fact that drones are going to be flying around spying on in our backyards. Stop the drug war. Bring about marriage equality. These are very, very important issues that neither party are addressing.
Now, there are lots of your former colleagues in the Republican Party that have become critics now that say that your bid will simply enable Barack Obama to win in the places where you're the strongest, that it'll hurt Mitt Romney. Is that a fair criticism?
No, it's really not. It's where this has been subject to analysis. In some states, I take more votes away from Obama. In other states, I take more votes away from Romney, which just comes back to, I think I'm going to take equally from both parties, and I think I'm going to take a big segment of independents that perhaps wouldn't have ordinarily voted. And I think a person should vote their conscience. Voting your conscience is how you change politics.
Naturally, we've never had a Libertarian president before. What would a Johnson presidency look like? Which president would you want your presidency to most resemble?
Well, what excites me, okay, is there's a lot of talk about getting along. We need to get along. Congress and the president needs to get along. Well, that's just code for spending more money. So I don't want to get along in that category at all. But what I do want to do as Libertarian president is I want to challenge Democrats on civil liberties. Repeal the Patriot Act, bring about marriage equality, end the drug wars. Let's not bomb Iran. Let's get out of Afghanistan. Challenge Democrats on what historically they've supposed to have been good at. Challenge Republicans in spending. Look, let's balance the federal budget now. I, as the Libertarian President of the United States, I'm vetoing this Republican spending bill because they spend too much. And both parties, let's end crony capitalism. Let's bring about genuine free markets. Now I'm back to reforming our tax code. We enact the fair tax. Half of Washington lobbyists will get pink slips because they're there to garner their special loophole. It's for sale, and individuals, groups, corporations are paying for those loopholes.
Great. Well, thank you very much for taking out the time for us.
Charlie, thank you very much.